Computer science videos here today to show you guys in tutorial 19 of programming in HTML5, HTML styles, CSS. Without further ado, let us start the video. So the first thing we need to do is go all the way down to the dock, click on Finder, go to your documents, go to the HTML5 folder, double click on this, and then go to index.html, right click, open with, text edit, and now we can close out of Finder and then go back to the index.html text file and then increase the size of this. And now we can increase the font size with Command plus a couple of times and then highlight the previous tutorial's code, right click, cut, and then go to the Word document, which is on the right hand side of your screen, double click, and then go right to the bottom of the page. And now we can go to another page. Command V to paste, Command S to save, and now we can close out to the Word document and go to the text edit file before typing in any code. What we need to know is CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. CSS describes how HTML elements are to be displayed on screen, paper, or in other media. CSS saves a lot of work. It can control the layout of multiple web pages all at the same time. CSS can be added to HTML elements in three ways. Inline, by using the style attribute in HTML elements. Internal, by using the style element in the head section. External, by using an external CSS file. The most common way to add CSS is to keep the styles in separate CSS files. However, here we will use an inline and internal styling because this is easier to demonstrate and easy for you to try yourself when it comes to looking at the tutorial and then practicing, because we know practice makes perfect. So we can move on to inline CSS. An inline CSS is used to apply a unique style to a single HTML element. An inline style uses the style attribute of a HTML element. We can now work through an example that sets the text color of the H1 element to blue. So now if we go to the index.html text edit file and type in, after we press Command S to save, H1 style equals speech marks and then color blue, semicolon, speech marks, greater than. This is a blue heading, less than slash H1 greater than. And now we can press Command S to save. And now go all the way down to the dock, click on Finder, go to the Documents folder, and then navigate to the HTML5 folder, double click, right click on index.html, open with Safari. We can close out to Finder, adjust the size of the web browser and the text edit file so we are then able to simultaneously see what is happening on a concurrent level in real time. And so we have this is a blue heading in blue. We can now use comments to take this line of code away from the situation. Less than, exclamation mark, dash dash, and then towards the end, dash dash, greater than. So this means we will not be able to see this is a blue heading. Reload the page and the heading itself has vanished. And now we can move on to internal CSS. An internal CSS is used to define a style for a single HTML page. An internal CSS is defined in the head section of a HTML page within a style element. So now after the head tag, we can type in style and then less than style. So we know we are inserting CSS into this index.html text edit file. Command S, and now go to the body of the web page and type in H1. This is a heading, less than slash H1 greater than. On the next line, type in less than P greater than. This is a paragraph, less than slash P greater than, Command S to save, go to the web browser, right click, reload the page. And now we have, this is a heading, this is a paragraph. And our job now is to change and add CSS to the index.html file. So if we make a couple of lines of space, and now we know we are working in the style. So we can say body, BOD, curly brace, the background color, dash color, colon, powder blue, a semicolon, and then a curly brace. On the next line, H1, a curly brace, the color will be blue, semicolon, and then curly brace. Next line, the paragraph, curly brace, color, colon, red, semicolon, curly brace. Command S to save, go to the web browser, right click, reload the page. And now we have, this is a heading, this is a paragraph in different colors. We also have a new background color. And now we can move on to the external CSS. An external style sheet is used to define the style for many HTML pages. With an external style sheet, you can then change the look of an entire website by changing one file. To use an external style sheet, we can add a link to the head section of the HTML web page. Before we do that, we can go all the way to the text edit file, new, and save this as style.css. Command S to save. We are in the HTML5 folder, styles.css, and now save. We have styles.css, go all the way down to the dot, click on Finder, Documents, HTML5. We have the CSS style sheet in the folder, close out to Finder, and now we can move the style sheet to the right hand side of your page, increase the size, and take all the style code, highlight, cut, go to the CSS page, paste, and remove the style elements, tags. Command S to save after copying and pasting and then rearranging. And now in the index.html file, we can type in between the head tag, less than, link, after we indent, link, rel, equals, speech marks, style sheet, space, href, equals, speech marks, and then the name of the style sheet, which is styles.css. Command S to save, and now we need a greater than sign. Command S to save. If we go back to the web browser, right click, reload the page, and now we have, this is a heading, this is a paragraph, different colors, and the website background is also in a different color, the same as the previous code, the internal CSS. And then for the external CSS, we took the code that was in the index.html, copied and pasted, and then added one line of code to link the index.html page with the style sheet page. And now we can move on to CSS fonts. The CSS color property defines the text color to be used. The CSS font family property defines the font to be used. And the CSS font size property defines the text size to be used. So if we close the styles.css text edit file and also comment out the style sheet for the moment, less than, exclamation mark, dash dash, dash dash, greater than, Command S to save, right click, reload the page on the web browser, and now we have, this is a heading, this is a paragraph, no background color, as we do not have a style sheet or internal CSS code on the page for the moment. As we are talking about CSS fonts, we will now add a couple of fonts, colors, font sizes to the index.html web page. So now if we type in less than styles, less than slash styles, greater than, and now within the styles type in h1, curly brace, next line, color, colon, blue, semicolon, On the next line, font family, Verdana, semicolon, font size, 300%, semicolon, curly brace, and now P for paragraph, curly brace. We can copy the code for the heading, copy, and then paste, and now we can change the color to red, Verdana to Courier, 300 to 160, and don't forget the curly brace at the end. Command S to save, and now we can go to the web browser, right click, reload the page, and now we have a problem because we must say style and not styles. Command S to save, right click, reload the page. This is a heading, this is a paragraph. So now we can move on to CSS borders, padding, margin, ID attribute, class attribute, and the external references. So if we now go back to the index.html text edit file and remove all the code in the style tag, highlight, right click, cut, and then go back to the Word document, which is on the right hand side of your screen, double click, open, scroll all the way down to the bottom, enter a couple of times, Command V to paste, Command S to save, minimize, and now we can insert a border by going back to the style tag and typing in P curly brace indent border colon 1 pixel solid powder blue semicolon curly brace, Command S to save, go all the way to the web browser, right click, reload the page, and now we have this is a heading, this is a paragraph. The paragraph has a border around it as we have the code for the CSS to tell the web browser that we need a border. And now if we go back to the index.html file, go to the style tag, go into the paragraph CSS code, enter indent padding colon 30 pixels. Command S to save, go to the web browser, right click, reload the page, and now we have a border with a padding of 30 pixels. Go back to the index.html file, change padding to margin, change 30 to 50, Command S to save, go to the web browser, right click, reload the page, and now we have a border 1 pixel solid powder blue, margin 50 pixels. We can now move on to the ID attribute. So if we say in the body and the paragraph less than P ID equals speech marks P01, greater than, this is a paragraph, and then less than /P greater than, and now we can go to the style tag in the paragraph, change this P to hashtag P01, remove the code, highlight, right click, cut, go to the Word document, scroll to the bottom, Command V to paste, Command S to save, minimize, go back to the style tag, paragraph, and now type in color blue, Command S to save, go back to the web browser, right click, reload the page, and now we have this is a paragraph, color blue. We can now move on to the class attribute. To define a style for special types of elements, add a class attribute to the element, and now we can say on the next line, P class equals speech marks error, speech marks greater than, this is a paragraph, less than /P greater than, go back to the style tag, change hashtag P01 to P.error, and then color red, Command S to save, go back to the web browser, right click, reload the page, and now we have this is a paragraph in red. If we remove the previous line's code with a comment, less than, exclamation mark, dash dash, and then dash dash greater than command. Let's just say right click, reload the page of the web browser. This is a paragraph in red, as we only want to see the paragraph and the heading, and we have code in the style tag to change the paragraph to color red. And now we can move on to external references. External style sheets can be referenced with a full URL or with a path relative to the current web page. So we can now link a web page to our code to say we took the code from this website. If I go back to the index.html file, and within the head where we have link rel style sheet href equals style.css, usually after href we would have the website's name and then .css to say we have taken the bootstrap navigation code from this website. If we had our style sheet in a folder, we would say href equals speech marks slash the folder name and then the file name. So the index.html file would know this is where the CSS style sheet is located. If we would then go back to the web browser, right click, reload the page, the web browser would know where the CSS style sheet really is. And so in this tutorial, we were able to learn about different cascading style sheet elements, tags. We used the style attribute, style element, link element, head element, color property, font family properties, font size properties, the border property, padding property, margin property. So we can now close out the Safari, save the index.html, close this. That's it for this video. I'll see you guys in my next tutorial. Thanks for now.